If your goal is to do this, then keep watching. Hey guys, my name is Zach Ferguson, and this channel is all about helping you guys reach your tricking goals. I may not be the best tricker, but hopefully my experience can help you guys become the best. This is a mega tutorial for a cart full. Before we start, I just want to say I put a ton of work into this video, so please like it and share it with a friend if it was helpful to you, because in this video we're going to go over 8 different methods to learn your cart full. So no matter where you're starting, hopefully one of these methods can help you get your cart full.
Technically one of them is kind of 2 combined, but it's kind of like the same thing whether you're doing it from like a round off or standing, so I'm kind of combining those 2.
So you could say it's 9, but it's really 8. Cart full is one of the most versatile and the most done tricks. You will see this almost every single combo that a tricker does has a cart full in it. That's a good thing and a bad thing because it's kind of overused, but if you are a beginner, it's kind of a quest line that you need to get. When I started tricking, I avoided common tricks or tricks that I saw a lot, and that actually held me back a ton because then I couldn't do tons of variations that other people could do, and it was just dumb to do that. So get your cart full, this is how. Since this video is going to be so long, probably like 30 or 40 minutes, I have hidden 6 Pokemon in this video. I bet you no one can find all of them. As a hint, I will tell you that all of them are from Gen 1, except for one of them. Happy hunting. I also want to explain that cartwheel and full twist are 2 separate movements, but a lot of people call this trick a cart full because it is a common movement, but they are 2 separate tricks. However, I'm teaching them as one tutorial because that's what people want to learn, a cart full. But like I said, this is going to be a while, so strap in and let's get to the quick tutorial. All right, so what is a cart full? A cart full is either a true backflip with a 360 after a cartwheel if you end facing backwards to your direction of momentum, or most people do it as a cart Arabian with a half twist, or a cart front with a half twist. I personally think of it as a cart front with a half twist, specifically so that I can spot my landing early and then I can swing it or do a variation if I'd like to. But once you get very experienced with it, it can just feel like one movement. Cart full, it's not like I think cart front to half every single time I do a cartwheel. But obviously, since there are 8 different methods to this tutorial, there are tons of different ways to learn this, and there are benefits to learning it different ways. You don't always want to go over the top, you don't always want to go on a 45 or around the side. It really depends on the variation that you're trying to do, or if you're using it as a setup, or you're trying to go high, or you're trying to add twists to it. So, the prerequisites for this video are only cartwheel. Cartwheel is the only thing you need to know before going into this video. I would hope you're not trying to learn a cart full before you know how to cartwheel, but I know some people do try to do that, so I'm not putting it past you. I just wanted to mention that cartwheel is the only prerequisite. However, there are a ton of tricks that actually help you with this, so if you know a B-twist, an aerial twist, a front flip, a side flip, a full twist, and a round-off full, or a couple different other tricks, those can also be helpful for this, but they are not necessary. I was gonna go over cartwheel in this video, but it's already gonna be dummy long, so I'm going to make a supplementary cartwheel tutorial after this so that you guys can watch that if you need help with your cartwheel and then return to this video. So just so you're aware, I learned cart full from a combination of 2 methods. So I'm going to start with those 2 methods first and then move on to the other ones that could possibly help you. So for method 1, probably the scariest method is doing it from a dive roll. So what you want to do is you want to do a parkour dive roll, or at least a parkour shoulder roll, or a martial arts shoulder roll. However you know this, it's going to be a shoulder roll over my right side because I twist to my left. That's very important to understand which shoulder you're rolling over. If I turn my head to my left, that means I'm gonna roll over my right shoulder. If I twist to my right, that means I'm gonna roll over my left shoulder. Practice that movement and get really good at diving up high. If you don't have any equipment, this is a really good way to learn this. Just be aware that your roll needs to be very good and you need to be able to go very high comfortably before you try to put this into a cartwheel. Once you can roll comfortably and you can go very high, what you're gonna do is you're going to do your cartwheel and understand where your direction of momentum is going. So if you're doing a sideways cartwheel or a gymnastics cartwheel, it does not matter. All you need to know is that you end with your direction of momentum going backwards. So if I cartwheel this way, then I need to land facing this way with split feet, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna pivot from your hips, but not your feet, and then you're going to spot over, reach your arm up as high as possible, and then jump into your dive roll. You can stop completely and then jump into your dive roll, or you can go ahead and add it together. But either way, you're going to have to jump immediately out of that cartwheel and keep your legs as straight as possible so that you can get height for that dive roll. Practice this a ton. And I mean a ton if you're gonna use this method, because it can be dangerous. You can slam straight down on your back if you do it wrong. But this method personally helped me to understand the rotation. So what you want to do is, once you can do your cartwheel to dive roll and you have a little bit of momentum, you want to make sure that you're going as far out as possible, so away from where you took off. So it kind of feels like an Arabian dive roll. The key here is spotting for as long as possible. You need to make sure that you know where you are landing before you jump, or else you're going to get scared and your body's going to freeze up and you're going to curl in a ball. So go away from your landing position as far as you can. Once you've got that mastered, what you're gonna do is, when your hands hit and you start your shoulder roll, you're gonna make sure that you turn your hips so that you land facing back the way you took off. So basically, you're going to cartwheel, hit your feet, reach up, dive roll as far as you can, and then you're gonna end facing back the way you took off. So make sure you rotate your hips all the way, and you can land on your feet or on a knee right now. Either way is fine with me. Once you got that, what you're gonna do is aim for higher and higher until it basically feels dangerous to do the dive roll, because you feel like you are just gonna slam down on your feet, and then you kind of have to send it. So what you're gonna do is the exact same motion, just higher in the air. So as soon as you reach up and you spot the ground, you do your roll as fast as possible in the air. If you have spotted correctly, then you can keep your eyes on the ground the entire time so that you are reaching over, you're starting your roll, and then you just look at the ground the whole time so you can just think about where you want to put your feet and land your cart full. On to method number 2. So the other method that helped me was cart front. The very first trick that I actually learned was a front flip on flat ground. So it was natural for me to progress from front flip to cart front. I know a lot of trickers hate cart front because it introduces a lot of twisting momentum. So if you can't cartwheel over the top very well, then you might want to avoid this movement. But I think that you should be a Zach of all trades and learn a lot of tricks. Just be aware that the more sideways your cartwheel is, the harder it's going to be to cart front. However, if you just set like a cart front with a sideways cartwheel, it's actually going to help you cart full easier. But to start, go ahead and do a front flip. Just make sure that you have a solid front flip. You can go really high, spot your landing, and land normally. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be controlled. From there, you're going to use the same walkthrough as the last method. And a lot of other methods are going to be very similar because you're taking off from the same way. But essentially, you're going to do your cartwheel and then you're going to spot over and kind of mimic a front flip. Don't even go for the whole front flip yet. Just get used to setting. So essentially what you're doing is you're cartwheeling, you're bringing your arms over the top. From the moment that you do your cartwheel, you keep them up above your head, you turn your body so that's 100% facing your direction of momentum, and then you just hop really high in the air like you're a scary monster or something. You want to keep your legs as straight as possible. If you bend your knees a ton, then you're actually going to have less power and less height. Just keep your legs straight and bring your arms up and you'll feel yourself float up in the air. From there, you got to do your cart front. So hopefully you already have your cart front if you're trying to do this method, but if you don't yet, try your cart front now. It's essentially just a more powerful front flip. If you're comfortable with front flip and you can do that jump with your arms up, then just do a cart front. Once you have your cart front, what you want to do is understand your spotting. So for cart full, basically what I do is I do a cartwheel, and because I want height, I reach up like a front, I spot the ground, and then all you have to do is when you are semi upside down, you keep your eyes on the ground, and right when you feel like you can't look at the ground anymore, you just turn your hips. You literally just tuck and turn a little bit, and you can keep your eyes on the ground the entire time. It ends up being a front half. But that's a cart full. All you gotta do is cart front, keep your eyes on the floor, turn your hips, and then land facing backwards to your direction of momentum, and you've done a cart full. On to method number 3. This one is specifically for people who already have a standing full or come from gymnastics or tumbling and have a very good round off full but cannot understand how to do a tricker, sideways weird 45-degree angle full twist out of a cartwheel. This is the one that I said that was kind of a combination. You can either have a standing full or a round off full, but essentially they're the same motion. It's just your setup beforehand, but you're gonna split it apart. So like I said, my tricking affinity is kind of tumbling, so I didn't realize that standing full was this, illustrious trick to a lot of people until I was around other, tumbling groups, because I learned full twist out in a field by myself, just standing, because I did an Arabian half twist, and I was always good at like front flip moves, so it's easy for me. So I understand if you're like, bro, what, like standing full, really? So just use a round off full if you know how to do that. Either way, all you have to do is do your regular round off full and then slowly start splitting your legs. So you're gonna do a round off, but you're gonna land split-legged and then go for your full. If that's too scary, just practice your round off over and over again and slowly like micro split your legs. You just a little bit wider, little bit wider, little bit wider until you land 1, 2 and you can do your full. If you're doing it with a standing full, it's the same thing. You just do your cartwheel, stop, look over your shoulder, and full twist. From here, if you're doing a round off full, the only thing you want to do is make it a little more sideways. So instead of running forward into your cartwheel and then doing a full twist, what you're going to do is you're going to step backwards, kind of like a butterfly kick, and then do a cartwheel and then a full twist. Essentially, what this does is it gives you a little more sideways or 45-degree momentum. So if you don't know how to spin setup yet, I'll go over them in my cartwheel tutorial, and I also go over it in my butterfly twist tutorials. So check them out there on that playlist. That's kind of a short method, but again, if you already know how to round off full, then cart full should be relatively easy. But I have seen tons of people that come from gymnastics that don't understand how to do a cart full, even though it's technically way easier than a round off full. The power is the issue for most people. So just make sure that your legs are straight like normal, and then you are looking over your shoulder when you do your cart full, and then it just feels like a regular full. So the next method is for the free runners who have really good side flips that want to get their cart full. It's actually one of my favorite methods for teaching people how to cart full because it's actually really easy if you have solid side flips. The only caveat to this method is that you need your correct side for your side flip. So for me, I side flip on left side dominantly and right side as my bad side, but you should, if you are a left side twister, side flip on your right side because it's actually gonna help you a lot. So for this method, you're going to need your right side flip, okay? So it should be over your right shoulder and then you tuck. If you have that, you can get your cart full easy peasy. When I go over side flips, I will explain why left is my dominant side. Don't worry about it right now. But this method is gonna be similar to cart front. Basically, all you're gonna do is do your cartwheel, and then you're gonna spot over your shoulder, and then you're going to take a step, and then you're gonna side flip. Then you just add momentum to that so that you get comfortable with it. Cartwheel, step over, side flip. Make sure you are looking at the ground the entire time until you have that blind spot where you can't look anymore, but you should be very good at spotting for your side flip by now if you're gonna use this method. If you can do this really fast, then it's time to turn away from your direction of momentum. So you're gonna do your cartwheel, and when you land, you're gonna start here, and then you look over your shoulder, and then right here, you just do your normal side flip. So if you do this with momentum and you spot really early, but you keep your feet facing the other direction, then when you reach over and you get in the air, you're still gonna be facing this direction a little bit. That's gonna send you up. So you're just basically starting like a backflip, and then you turn in the air, and then you do a side flip, and then you end facing back to where you came from, where your back is to your direction of momentum, and then you have a cart full. Make sure you progress to this kind of slowly, but on this method, you kind of have to go fast. So what I mean is, do it a lot, so it takes time to get comfortable with this, but when you do this method, go super fast. There's gonna be no way to do this motion slow because you have to do the side flip fast and you have to do the cartwheel fast. But I love teaching people this way because it kind of tricks their brain. They're like, wait, what do you mean I side flip on this side, but I cartwheel and I twist to this side? You sure? I'm like, bruh, try it out. If you look over your shoulder and you side flip really hard, you've done a cart full. All right, for the fifth method, what you're gonna do is you're going to go over mats or a bed. So if you have a mat stack or you have a bed where you have open space on either side of your bed, then you can use this method to get your cart full. Basically what you wanna do is you wanna have a mat that is somewhere from stomach height to chest height on you, somewhere between there. If it's higher than that, like shoulders, it's probably not gonna be that good. If it's lower than that, then it's not gonna help you understand how to do the motion. All you gotta do is do a roll or dive roll over that mat and face back the way you came from. Then what you're gonna do is you're going to set up and do your cartwheel so that you are facing backwards to that mat. Then you just do that dive roll over the mat. Then you start adding momentum. Make sure that you are spotting the mat the entire time because this is gonna help you understand where to land on the mat. If you go too far past the mat, you're gonna fall on the other side and hurt yourself. If you go too short, same thing, you're gonna fall on the ground right in front of you, or you're gonna slam your back on the mat like you're a stunt guy or something. So it's going to be roll over your right shoulder if you twist to your left shoulder if you twist to your right. It's the same thing as our dive rolls earlier, but we are using a mat to do it now. So this teaches you the height. Again, you can combine that last method with this method if you need to, but I wanted to separate them because I personally didn't do it with mats, but I used the dive roll to get there. However, all you gotta do now is get some height and really focus on bouncing up and out of that cartwheel so that you get a ton of height, spot the mat, roll over, face back the direction you came from. From there, what you wanna do is you want to turn it upwards or stack something on top of it so that it's like a little higher up if you were doing a lower one, only because it's gonna give you the same amount of like lift that you need to do a real cart full. You need to rotate about chest level at least if you're going to do a cart full IRL or without the mats. If you twist any lower than chest level, it's gonna be pretty hard to accomplish this, and it's probably gonna end up being like a B twist or something. So all you gotta do is go fast and do the same thing over those mats. Just make sure that you have a stable mat set up, because if you don't, it's gonna fall down and you're gonna fall down. Make sure that you are doing a full power cartwheel on this, because a lot of times people will hold back on this and they will do their cartwheel way too close to the mat, and this causes them to turn too sideways, or they will kind of crunch up their legs and not have any power at all. So make sure that you do it far away and you have to kind of reach out and spot before you do the roll. If you can do that and you can do it on the high stack, then it's time to take away the mats. And if you take away the mats and you do the exact same thing and you send it really fast and you're not afraid, then you will absolutely do a cartful. And as proof, here's one of my students, Miles, working on it with this method. He did this about 20 times, and then we tried it just out in space because he felt confident. He's kind of built like a truck and not really afraid of anything. So he was fine with going ahead and throwing it. He crashed it twice, and then on the third attempt, he went for it and got his cart full. Then I tried to go for a high five, but then remembered my survival instinct. The next two are very similar. So the first one is going to be from a butterfly twist. So if you have a butterfly twist, an easy way to get your cart full is by doing cart to B twist. So warm up your B twist, get really comfortable with it, make sure that you can pull your chest back up at the end because that's going to be very important. Then you're going to do a cartwheel, stop, make sure that you are facing away from your direction of momentum, and then dip, and then do your butterfly twist. If you can't do a standing butterfly twist yet, you might want to get better at your butterfly twist before you do a cart to butterfly twist. So check out my tutorial for that if you need it. Either way, it's pretty simple. All you're gonna do is cart to B twist faster and faster until it's one fluid motion. Once you have that down, what you want to do is start blocking. So essentially you are doing your cartwheel, and instead of dipping now, you are reaching here and spotting over at the ground, and then you're letting your leg come up and do a regular butterfly twist. At first, this is going to feel really awkward. One thing that I will mention is that you really need a fast cartwheel for this. So cartwheel as fast as possible, and then you spot over and it'll just feel like a normal B twist if you don't hesitate. Do not dip, just cartwheel, stand up, look, and then B twist, and then pull your head up. Make sure that you are pulling like this so that your feet come underneath you. Once you got that, it's just getting comfortable with it. You just do your cartwheel and you reach higher and higher and higher, and make sure that your chest comes up and over a little bit more, and then it'll invert you more like a cart full rather than just doing a regular B twist. The key to this is to keep your legs separated, but not do any kind of hip dip at all. You just block right here, keep your hips facing this way, and then when you spot, think B twist, and you have a cart full. So the next one is very similar, just like I said, and it's gonna be from an aerial twist. In my opinion, aerial twist is harder than a cart full, but a lot of these tricks in this tutorial are harder than cart full if you don't know how to do them. I remember when Kite could do a double cork, but he posted in the forums and tried to do a B twist, and everyone thought he was joking because he could dub and he could do so many like cork variations, but he had literally never tried butterfly twist. So people literally thought he was trolling. I thought he was trolling, but he was actually asking for help because he didn't understand the axis. So there are situations where people know way more advanced movements before they know other movements. So that's why I want to include things like this. Either way, do your aerial twist, kick over, make sure your chest comes up, and then it's the same progression as the butterfly twist, minus the dip. So you're gonna do your cartwheel, you're going to pivot your hips so you're facing your direction of momentum, and then do your aerial twist. Make sure you use momentum with this, because unless you have a crazy good Webster like Adam Davenport, you're going to need to go fast. You're not gonna have enough flip to finish your aerial twist. So cartwheel, stop, face this way, do the kick and get used to it, and then go fast. Cartwheel, and then aerial twist. Make sure you go with your direction of momentum for this one. From there, you're gonna do the same progression, but turn farther and farther away. So you do your cartwheel and then aerial twist kind of sideways, so your hips are facing sideways to your direction of momentum, or like a 90-degree angle, and then you do your aerial twist. Make sure you are kicking that leg really hard in the back still. Then you're gonna do the same thing, and you're going to block from farther forward. So now it's kind of a real cart full if you can do it like this, because all the difference is where your hips take off. If I do a cart A twist this way, but I do a cart A twist this way, with my hips facing this way, I take off and then I do an A twist, it's a cart full. So focus on cartwheeling, spotting, just like on all the other ones, spot the ground, and then you lift that leg up so you can kind of cheated a little bit because you're already landing right, left, and then you can kind of lift this leg up high here, and then keep the leg up high, and then do your aerial twist, and then hopefully you've got a cart full. On this method specifically, the only difference is that it's going to be hard to get height if you kick that leg all the time. So you kind of want to do it more of a 1-2 and then jump off 2. So it's a pop setup. So you land your cartwheel and then take off 2, and then as soon as you leave the ground, then try to do it like an aerial twist or with a kick or something, and then you'll be able to really like get height for this movement. If it's too low, it's because you are taking off of only your left foot and kicking with your right. Make sure you jump off 2 and then kick up with your right. I know that sounds confusing, but that's how to turn your aerial twist into a cart full. And the last method for getting your cart full is for the people who come from martial arts or are really good at kicking. For this method, you're going to need a backside 9. All you're gonna do is you're gonna do a cartwheel face sideways to your direction of momentum. So I'm going this way, but then this is where I'm spotting, and then I just twist and I spot you guys and kick at you guys. Get comfortable with that motion, because if you are not comfortable with that, then you're not gonna be able to control it and you won't be able to turn it into a cart full. Your target is always perpendicular to your momentum. So that means if my momentum is going this way, then my target is right in front of me, like a 90-degree angle. So if I start to go this way, then that means my target is over here. I hope you guys understand what I mean by that. On this one specifically, make sure that you are not bending your knees, because a lot of people, myself included, when you go for a backside 9, you have to kind of cancel your momentum a little bit and then jump and twist so that you're staying vertical when you do a cart to backside 9. But on this one, what you want to do is you want to stand up tall and try to hop and let the momentum take you off the ground, and then twist for your backside 9 and hit your target. After that, all you have to do is change your targets. So basically what you're doing is you're targeting here normally, then you're gonna target here, and then you're gonna target there. And if you can target here so that you take off here, but you target over there, then you're basically doing a cart full round kick already. So all you gotta do after that is do your backside 9, reach up, spot your target so you feel very, very sideways, and then you just tuck that leg, look at the ground, and then you've done a cart full. Whew, okay, that was a lot of methods. All right, so now for common mistakes. All of your common mistakes tend to be the same, even if you're doing different methods. So I wanted to put this at the end and not really go super in depth to every single method, just kind of explain how you get them through those different methods, and now go over the specificity or the specific details for the cart full in this section of common mistakes. So the first and most important common mistake that I see people do is not spotting. So where you want to spot, always in your cart full, unless you're doing a kick, is you do your cart full and then you're spotting right there, so you automatically can see. Like if you do your cartwheel and you are facing this way with your chest and your hips, you can just look over your shoulder and look at the ground. It's kind of a 45-degree angle over there. Then you want to kind of just punch right there with your arm, no matter what method you're doing. If you're doing the cart front, you have this arm over already, but then you punch there. If you're doing the cart B twist, you tilt your chest and then you punch right there. If you're doing the cart A twist, you turn your chest, you punch right there. Backside 9, you get it. But basically, you're going to spot there and then keep your eyes there for as long as possible. That's gonna help you so much, because then your brain is gonna know where to put your feet. Wherever you are looking is where your feet go to when you're doing acrobatics. That's why I say for flips, always spot the ground, unless it supersedes it if you're doing a kick. So if I'm doing a cart full round, I won't spot here. You could spot there at the beginning, but either way, it's actually your target. So I would do here to set and then spot you guys and then round. Or I would just do it, because I'm comfortable with it now, I would just do a cart full and spot there and round kick, depending on where I want to kick. But if you spot that early and you actually invert, you can keep your eyes on the ground the entire time, and then it'll be easy, and you can just eagle out or land 2 feet so you can like punch or do something out of your cart full. The second most common mistake I see is not straightening your legs. A lot of people, especially if they come from parkour or some kind of other static jumping art where you do a lot of box jumps, want to bend your knees a ton. But I actually learned this from watching Dan Pitlock. He's kind of built like a football player. He's really, really strong, and he does amazing cartwheels. He could do dub-dub a long time before I could, because I still can't do that. But basically what I noticed is that he never bent his knees hardly at all. He would just do his cartwheel and keep his legs as straight as possible. And what that does is gets your center of gravity really high and wastes no momentum. You can think of momentum as electricity or like water going through a water hose. And when you bend, you kink it slightly. So you have all this momentum and all this water, and then you stop the water and then you open it back up. So the flow is going to be explosive, but not as flowy as it could be. If you keep your flow, you'll actually have more momentum and you'll be fluid and you won't get stuck. So keep your legs as straight as possible and then get your chest up high so that all you have to do is use your arms for power, and you're already really high in the air, and then you just turn your hips and you land. So keep your legs straight. Do not bend your legs on your cartwheel for cartful. That's a nice segue to the third common mistake. The third common mistake I see is that you don't have a good cartwheel. I see so many people try to do a cart full or cart tricks, but they can barely even cartwheel. Learn your cartwheel first, get good at it, make sure that you can do it fast. If you can't do a super fast cartwheel and you feel like you're rebounding out of your cartwheel, then just don't even try it. Because if you can do a standing full and then you do a cartwheel into a standing full, it's still not even a cartwheel if you stop in the middle, right? So you need to have a ton of momentum in your cartwheel, and that's going to actually help you get up into the air. So I like to tell my students that every time you do a setup move, like a scoot or a round off or a cartwheel, it's like you're building a trampoline really quick, like you're a gnome or something. If you build a really crappy trampoline, then you're going to not go anywhere and you're just gonna crash. Every single time you set up for a trick, your trampoline is your setup. So you have to do a clean, good, powerful cartwheel so that can send you up in the air, and then you decide what you're going to do. Then you pull over and you twist and everything. So make sure your cartwheel is solid, you get in the air, and then you do your full twist. And the last common mistake I see is not setting or keeping your chest too low. So people who learn this from a B-twist, that'll be an issue for you guys. Make sure that you bring your chest up. But essentially, if I'm trying to swing my cart full, you kind of want to set it pretty low and rotate in place so that you meet the ground and you swing again, but that should be entirely intentional. A lot of times people will do a cart full, but they'll set like right here, and then you have to twist so fast for you to accomplish a cart full there. So make sure that you set up. Setting just means where you put your arms in your chest so that your center of gravity is at a certain height, and then you do the movement. So you set up with your chest and then you do whatever you want to do. All right guys, I know that was a long video, but I hope it helped you get or improve your cart full. If you liked it or it helped you, please like the video, share it with a friend and help them out if it helped you, and please subscribe to my channel so that I can get to 1,000 subs. I just passed 400 subs. Thank you guys so much for that. I started this channel like 6 months ago, or I started taking it serious like 6 months ago, and I had like 150 subs, and now we just passed 400. Thank you so much for that. So if you're not subscribed, please join us. Join us. Leave a comment down below and let me know if this helped you or if there was something I missed. Hopefully there wasn't something I missed. But until next time, please stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys later.